Hi folks, you're with Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about, this is personal experience here of affirmative action, in this case women, and the extent to which this is multiplying at a rapid rate. It was only a few years ago when, I have a share in a business. And so a few years ago, I wasn't really going to that many meetings and having that much to do in the day-to-day side, but I'm sort of having a bit more to do at the moment, or really for the last couple of years, I guess. So I've been attending meetings and getting to see and meet and press the flesh with all the people who are in charge at a lot of these organisations, whether it be government departments or quangos or private commercial businesses. And more and more is the case that affirmative action policies are being brutally enforced. And affirmative action hiring policies are code speak for not hiring straight white males, really. That's all it is. And hiring unqualified people to fill roles that otherwise would have been filled by competent straight white males. So this is, so we're at a meeting recently, and there had been sort of a bit of a lull for a week or two while they were hiring someone. They've hired I'm not quite sure whether this was an internal move, someone they hired not long ago, or was a fresh hire. But anyway, she's there at the meeting now. She was so unqualified that it was beyond embarrassing. So I went to look at her public profile, which she proudly puts up. Although I wouldn't, I'd be hiding it if I was her. But anyway, it's this far, race to the bottom, how far down to the bottom that affirmative action hiring takes us. Now, she's been appointed into a senior position, and this is like a quango thing, and she's being paid between 3.5 and 4 times the average wage, which you can do okay at in Sydney. It's not enough to buy your waterfront mansion, far from it, but you can do all right. So now, so she's got this on her public profile. She left high school. I think she would have been affirmative action going from junior to senior high school. She ain't bright. And she went to university doing some sociology thing, dropped out in the first year. Then she worked for 3 years at a retail store as a gofer. Then she had a stint at a takeout food shop as a gofer. Then was either unemployed for 3 years or had so many part-time jobs that she didn't record it all. Then suddenly she's hired into an NGO as a mental health mentor, whatever the fuck that is, and then moves from the NGO to a government department where she's there for sort of 6 months, and she's working on what's called major projects, whatever the fuck that means. Then she moves to this quango where she's the deputy director, national deputy director of major projects, which includes technical stuff and so on. In fact, it's mostly technical stuff in this role. So what qualifications she has is beyond me. I mean, she hasn't even got a single minute of relevant qualifications to be in this job, and it shows. I mean, sometimes I try and cut slack to people, and I've in the past I've hired people that aren't qualified or credentialed, but you look at their eager, they're keen, they're very bright, they're very conscientious, they're really going to work hard, and they're going to actually give it 1,000,000%, and again they've got the intellectual capability to make a go of it, and I may put more time into helping them be successful, but you've got that this person's going to make this is not one of these cases. We're talking about IQ of 85 to 90, lazy. She doesn't give a fuck. She's entitled as all get out, and yet here she is in this role with her time. So then you go to a Facebook page, which again, if I was her, because she's about 28. So it shows her out night clubbing, wearing night clubbing type clothes. looked like she's almost half passing out from alcohol and party drugs, wearing, the micro miniskirt. She's not that hot either, by the way, so I wouldn't be wearing that if I was. But anyway, she's then it's she's at the gym in a leotard, looking like a sultry vixen, or trying to put that look on. And then the next shot is her on the beach in a bikini. So this is looks like she enjoys her social life, or tries to. So there's nothing here that would suggest or imply that she's a professional or capable, and so on. So here's this retail store junior gopher, who's got as many years unemployed as she has as a gopher, who's then given this quite senior, very well paid role, and. But she's entitled as well. This is the bit that sort of shocks me. She's entitled. She's actually got this attitude that this is, I was always going to be discovered. Like the waitress working in some takeout food store in Los Angeles who's waiting to be discovered by some movie mogul. I'm really talented. I always knew that type of thing. Now. At the same time, here's sort of another one which shows that it rarely can work both ways. There's a woman who's been appointed to head up again like a Quango type thing, and she'd be 40, I suppose, and she's not so much affirmative action high necessarily, but she's just very well connected. And I don't know what those connections are, but they must be pretty good if she can land this very well paid job. And she's got no relevant experience or capability, but she does understand enough about how power and process are transacted. If her IQ is above 100, it's not much, but she's got enough there, and so we were having her and her team and us were having a meeting, and when the meeting broke up, she sort of sidled up to me and we were talking, and when we had a subsequent couple of phone calls, and she was quite candid. She said, "Look, I've been given this job because I know the right people. I don't really know what I'm doing. I know what they expect of me, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get there. I need the expertise of people such as yourself to do it." Now, it could be just I'm a little girlie that needs a big, strong man, but I don't think it was that. She genuinely does not know what to do and doesn't know what she's doing. And she accepts that the people around her also don't know what they're doing, which is also true, by the way. I've met them. So I think it's genuine. Whether or not we end up sort of carrying her along and helping her be successful. I mean, if the money's right, anything's possible, but that remains to be seen. But the difference was she is an affirmative action hire, as in given the job by, there would have been thousands of people that could have done this job, but instead they've hired her, someone that can't. Maybe because they like her or think she'll be compliant in other ways or do what they want in other respects, but they've given her this job, and but she does accept, look, I'm not qualified to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm only entitled, I'm not really entitled to this job other than through my social connections. At least she's realistic enough to accept that. She's a bit older than the other girl, but the point I want to make is every meeting I go to now, I'm sitting around the table with people who are, with rare exception, unqualified. Now, the degree of unqualified you could debate, but wherever you see a woman, lesbian, brown, black, wherever you see that, then you just know. You don't have to even think it. You're dealing with an unqualified person. If it's a straight white male, then the probability is reasonable that you'll be dealing with someone that does know. The exception being someone who's been appointed by the Black Rocks and the State Streets and the big financial end of town. They appoint their crony flunkies that are useless simply because they can control them, and they don't know what they're doing. But outside of that, if it's a straight white guy in the role, he probably does know. And if he doesn't know, then he'll accept that he doesn't know, and he'll accept that he needs help to get the job done, whatever he wants to get done. And so that still makes it possible to work with him. Why the affirmative action people are so difficult is that, firstly, they're stupid. Secondly, they're entitled. And third, they think their job is to fight Nazis, not to do the work or anything like that. They're not accountable for doing the job. Accountability, you're kidding. And they perceive, and have been trained and radicalized to perceive, that every straight white male they come across is Hitler. And it is their job to not cooperate. It is their job to be difficult. It is their job to wait and try and goad you into putting a syllable out of place or a word out of place, so they can go, I knew it, Nazi, that sort of thing. So they're very difficult to deal with. And also, you've got the problem with these people, the white women, as much as anyone else, that they may do the opposite of what's needed. They'll do the opposite just to be difficult, for the sole purpose of being difficult. They'll do the opposite of what needs to happen. So the transaction cost, if you like, of dealing with these people is huge. Whereas with the straight white guy, it takes you 5 minutes to find the common ground. You're doing it. You've agreed. You're moving on to it. The work is happening. Productive work is happening. But with the affirmative action hires, it can take weeks to get through what can take 5 minutes with a competent person. And that's the overall effect, and crushing effect and damaging effect on the commercial section, on the economy, GDP, national wealth, or the whole thing. When you have people that don't know what they're doing, it comes with a huge overhead in transaction cost. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.